Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya
Hare Krishna and welcome to all the devotees online. Thank you very much for your kind enthusiasm to continue Madhurya Kadambini by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, chalking out all the aspects on our journey through divine love, session 7. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhe Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishubhadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Pastutari Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So let's take some questions or feedback that anyone has from our last session. And while anyone is typing any feedback, I like to recap. So Meena says, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance. Association is important to advance to other stages. But if one does sadhana at home and don't associate with devotees or books, they stay stagnant at the Shraddha stage. So depending on how you are practicing spiritual life, and only Krishna, you, and obviously those you are revealing your mind to, whether it's the Diksha Guru or whether it's the Shiksha mentor that's there, they will know how you are progressing. Association can come through many mediums. Firstly, through Srila Prabhupada's books, his lectures, his audios, bhajans, videos. Then there are so many YouTube resources of devotees around the world, Prabhupada's followers around the world that are sharing Krishna consciousness. So hearing those lectures, reading, that is association. And depending on how one is taking that association and applying oneself to that knowledge, one will advance. So the advancement, the association is there to keep you in track, to keep you hearing and chanting, because that's the watering process. So if you, for example, not associating, not necessarily in terms of physical association, but hearing and chanting. When we talk, we mentioned this point, associating with devotees, meaning when devotees come together, the idea is to hear and chant, glorify Krishna. That's the objective. Not just I'm coming together. No, hearing and chanting. So is hearing and chanting going? If you're not hearing and chanting, if you're not reading Srila Prabhupada's books, and you may not even be engaging practical service, yes, then your spiritual life is going to stagnate. It's like saying, I want to cross the Pacific Ocean that we gave the example of. And I'm starting at Tokyo. I'm going to start at Tokyo and end at, what was it, San Francisco, America. Now, I don't practice. I don't read about the dangers. You know, I don't meet my mentor. What's going to happen? you're going to stagnate. So, and if you want to know whether you're stagnating or not, you need to have a feedback process, a feedback protocol. Somebody who's monitoring, just like you find in some parts of India, like in Chowpatty and many parts in India, they have a mentorship program. Every devotee has to have a counselor, and he's meant to report to the counselor his daily sadhana, what he's doing. It's like that person is on 24-hour call, trying to understand where you are, what you need to do next. So they are accountable. And that way they can have a feedback mechanism to know where they are and how to progress. So yes, if one does not apply the process, one can stagnate. In fact, you could be on Shraddha for months, for years, if you don't take the next step. The initiative is upon us. Just like I can be chanting one round. So I have faith. That's why I started chanting one round. But can I stay on chanting one round for the rest of my life? Yes, I can. If I don't meet devotees and they don't ask me how many rounds you're chanting, one round, how many years you've been chanting? 10 years. Like, really? 10 years, one round? Like, are you serious? It's good that you're chanting one round, but do you want to take the next step, please? So that is important. I hope that answered that question. Amavati says, Hare Krishna. Subhadra bestows all auspicious to all living entities, attractive, affectionate, like Srila Prabhupada when the deers were following Srila Prabhupada. Sadhu Sangha is important for devotion to grow and be protected. Respect and appreciate every devotee, but associate closely with like-minded and more advanced devotees to grow. Yes. Sajati, yes, Snigde, Madhuri, Sanganam, Sangam, Savato Vare. Our greatest good fortune is the blessing and association of Mahabhagavat. Our most beloved Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's purport are his personal ecstasies. He sacrificed so much for his books, and therefore we must read Srila Prabhupada's books. Mukund says, the most important of Sadhu Shastra and Guru to increase our faith and devotional service. And Nirvana says, what happens if we cannot associate physically because of our social phobias or other limitations? Again, understand the key of association. We have the blessings of other forms of association. Yes, we should try to regularly keep physical association because there are certain aspects of physical association that you can't get online. But hearing and chanting, that you can do. We can associate with the holy name regularly, and we can associate with the glories of the holy name by hearing lectures online, YouTube lectures, audio lectures. Go to ISKCON Desire Tree, go to the audio section, hundreds of lectures. Go to YouTube, hundreds of lectures. There is no shortage. Prabhupada gave over 4,000 odd lectures. There is no shortage of hearing and chanting. So we should be in a habit of hearing as much as possible, reading as much as possible. Amoti says, Bro, you told us twice already the warning that this is for self-improvement only. We are ocean of faults, and so we must work on ourselves. How do we be very, very careful not to criticize anyone? So before, when you start thinking, and as soon as you start thinking, a devotee is conscious of his thoughts. So you know what you're thinking. Just like when you're chanting, you know what you're thinking. So if you're thinking bad about someone, you know that you're thinking bad about that person. So before that thought continues, you put a pause button. and start preaching to the mind. Hey, stop that. None of your business. Let Krishna be the judge. You judge yourself. Let Krishna be the judge. Let Guru be the judge. Everyone is on their own path, own journey. Yes, by our own example, we want to inspire. So if someone is not following, here is a way you can understand it. In the whole Mahabharata, and in all our lifespans, there will always be two types of living entities. Those who follow nicely and those who do not follow nicely, and obviously grayscales in between. In the Mahabharata, those who follow nicely are the Pandavas. Those who did not follow nicely are the Kauravas. You get that in every part of your existence, in every life, you find these two types of personalities. So there you are. And you have these two types of personalities. So the lesson is very simple. For those who are following nicely, like the Pandavas, they are examples for us what to do. For those who are not following nicely, like the Kauravas, they are example for us what not to do. They are not for you to judge. They are there for you to understand what I should not do. So now there you are, you in the center. And you have these two do's and don'ts. So simply we have to accept these do's and don'ts and then see, okay, am I following the Pandavas and am I not doing what the Pandavas, what the Kauravas have done? So this way I can now check myself and judge myself. Hope that shed some light on that topic. Great. So now we have covered faith, and we started covering and we've covered Sadhu Sangha. When we start applying the process of devotional service because we have some faith, as soon as we have some faith, we have some trust in the process, in the devotees, in Srila Prabhupada, in his writings, in Krishna, and we start to practice, whether it's chanting Hare Krishna, or whether it's devotional service, any aspect of the limbs of bhakti, we have to always keep reminding ourselves of the power, the potency, the importance of devotional service compared to every other process. What does devotional service do that the other process don't do and also do? I'm going to repeat the question. Here in the picture, we have some weeds, some unwanted weeds that destroy the bhakti creeper. What does devotional service do that the other processes can also do? And what does devotional service do that other processes like karma and gyan and all the other karma kandya sections and all the other remedies, prayaschitas that are there in the Vedas don't do? Please let us know. In relation to the weeds. What does devotional service do to the weeds that other processes can also do? And what does devotional service do that the other processes don't in relation to the weeds? Radhika says it kills the weeds. Yes, right. Not, it's not the complete answer, but definitely an answer. Amavati says it can take it out from the roots, others can't. Good. Nadira says overpowers the weeds. So devotional service will cut the weeds, which means it can destroy the weeds from the surface, purify your life. But devotional service can also uproot the whole weed, so it never grows again. All other processes, they can help you like a lawnmower. They can cut the weeds from surface. And when they cut the weeds from the surface, it seems like, oh, clean slate. Great. My sins are free. I'm sinful. I'm sin-free. But just wait for some time and they start growing again. Why? Because the roots have not been destroyed. Devotional service removes and destroys the roots of these creepers, these weeds. And therefore, it is very, very powerful. So now we're going to continue with the second shower of nectar, development of bhakti, and we're going to do bhajana kriya. So we had Shraddha, which then leads to Sadhu Sangha, and Sadhu Sangha obviously is also in the beginning, because it is with the sadhus that we develop Bhakti Sukriti and develop that faith. So that association then finally leads to faith, which then leads to engaging in devotional service, which is called Bhajana Kriya. Next comes Bhajana Kriya. One begins to practice different types of devotional activities, limbs of devotional service. This also is of two varieties, unsteady and nishtita Bhajana Kriya, and steady nishta or nishtita Bhajana Kriya. So as soon as one starts practicing devotional service, that means engaging the senses in service to please Krishna, one starts with unsteady devotional practice, and then that slowly matures and becomes more and more steady. So Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur is going to explain what types of unsteady, anishtita devotional service is there, which then as we apply ourselves over time, it becomes more and more steady. So for example, those of you that have been chanting, when you started, and there may be those that may have just started chanting like yesterday, and there may be some of you that chanted for many, many years, but all of us that have been chanting, when we initially started chanting Hare Krishna, that means day one, were any of you in this category that you made a commitment to start chanting, that yeah, I'm going to start chanting, and you may have chanted for some time and then it got interrupted, you stopped for different reasons. And then you said, no, I have to start chanting again, and you start chanting again. Was there any of you that had that experience of making a commitment, and I'm giving an example of chanting, but there was a break in that chanting? And then you started, continuing at a later stage, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4 days, but there is a break in your chanting. There's an interruption in your chanting. Or you made a specific vow that I'm going to read 5 pages every day, and you start reading 5 pages every day, and after some time it breaks and the 5 pages are forgotten. Has anyone experienced some sort of break in your devotional service where you said you're going to and you didn't? Say yes or no. Yes, happened to me. Amavati says yes. Charita says yes. Kirita says yes. Me too. Yeah, me too. I'm also in. So it all happens now. See? So that means in the beginning, it was anishtita, unsteady. Then over time, it becomes more and more steady. then it becomes so steady that it can't break. So this is the path or journey that Srila Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur is going to describe. So there are 64 limbs of devotional service. This is described in Nectar Devotion. We're not going to go through them, but in this beautiful book on pure devotional service, Srila Rupa Goswami discusses 64 different items of sadhana bhakti, 20 primary items of importance, and 44 additional items of service. The first 10 activities to accept, 11 to 20 activities that we should reject. Remember, I talked about the Pandavas and the Kauravas. Activities I need to engage in, activities I need to avoid. And then the other 44, 21 to 59 items of sadhana. And then the last 5, 60 to 64, most important, effective aspects or the limbs of devotional service. And these are the different chapters that discusses devotional service. Srila Rupa Goswami quotes each item and gives a scriptural reference of that item. Because these are all coming from scripture. Nothing is speculated. They're meant for our purification. So there are 6 stages of Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, unsteady devotional service. Unsteady performance of devotional activities called Anishtita Bhajana Kriya is of 6 types, and they are in sequential order, which means generally they happen in this specific order. And as one is progressing through these different unsteady devotional practices, it means one is also improving. Okay, and in the beginning, to some degree or other, we can experience these different unsteady forms of devotional service. And once we pass them, then our devotional service becomes fixed, nishtita, firm. So the first one is utsamahi. Utsaha means enthusiasm. So there's false enthusiasm, false confidence. This is the first step. Many devotees experience this when they've come first to spiritual life. Then the second one is Ganatarala, sporadic endeavor, also called thick and thin, mood swings. Then Vyuda Vikalpa, indecision, extensive speculation, seeking alternatives. Then Vishaya Sangara, struggling with the senses and the mind, fighting with temptations. Then Niyamakshama, inability to uphold vows. And finally, Taranga Rangani, enjoying the facilities offered by bhakti. Caught in side benefits, name, fame, adoration, etc., gets into the head, and we fall trapped to that. So these are the 6 different stages, and we're going to go through each one in a little more detail, give some examples. And as we mentioned, when you start, for example, practicing devotional service, going to the temple, this is what will transpire as you progress on the path of devotional service. And as we go through, you can try to reflect whether you've gone and experienced any of these 6 different stages of unsteady devotional service. Understanding these stages does not mean we have transcended these stages. Transcending these stages happens as we perform devotional service and we mature in our devotional service. So the first one is Uttamai. A Brahmin child, having begun study of scriptures, thinks he has immediately become a learned scholar worthy of everyone's praise. Similarly, a person just beginning devotional service may develop the audacity to think that he has mastered everything. He is called Utsamai, or filled, puffed up with enthusiasm. You come, you put a dhoti, you put tilak, beads, neck beads, now you're pure devotee. And I can do anything. So this is puffed up enthusiasm. As soon as one comes in contact with devotees and begins practicing the process, one thinks the process is so blissful, easy, wonderful. I can't stay without practicing this process even for a moment. He shows enthusiasm and excitement in every devotional activity. He thinks that the process is so easy. Why only 16 rounds? Why not 64 rounds? He thinks that I have become a very wonderful devotee and sometimes puffed up, understanding that I know everything and everyone must follow to become happy in their life. Chastise family members and friends when engaged in sense enjoyment. If watching TV, people are Maya. You like hogs, dogs, camel, and asses. You're going to rot in hell. This is Utsamai. Preaching to family and friends about process and how they are wasting human life, etc. Bhagavatam says, from the rising of the sun to the setting of the sun, if you don't engage in devotional service, you're wasting your life. Just see, you must follow me. Learn something from me. Thinks that this new enthusiasm in life is going to keep increasing, and then he will conquer the whole. Somebody is new, they can do so much service. It's like no stopping. They just like on cloud nine, ecstatic. They think they're pure devotees now. They can do so much service better than others. This enthusiasm is there. Now, this enthusiasm is there in the beginning. And because it's artificial enthusiasm, very soon the reality strikes. So from Utsamai, he then goes to Ganatarala. The same child sometimes becomes diligently engaged in his study, and yet at other times, because of inability to understand the scriptures and lack of real taste, becomes negligent. So that because of that taste, that initial enthusiasm is nice. Just like when a child gets a new toy, how often does a child play with a new toy when he gets it? How often does a child play with a new toy when he gets it? All the time. You can't, it's like you have to force to stop him. And then after a while, it gets a little boring and he stops. So same thing, when we get to devotional service and it's new, it's very, very, and we're very enthusiastic. But then this is the reality check. So Ganatarala is the reality check. Why? Because we really don't have deep taste. In the same way, a new devotee will sometimes practice the different activities of devotional service and sometimes neglect them. Being sometimes assiduous and at other times negligent. His endeavor is called Ganatarala, condense, dilute, thick and thin. So in the beginning, he's just moving like a rocket. Then after a while, as he's getting purified, then it goes to sporadic. One day you get up and you're enthusiastic to chant Hare Krishna. You pick up your bead bag and you can chant such wonderful rounds. And the next day, you don't even have a taste to chant Hare Krishna. You don't want to pick up your bead bag. You want to do something else. So like that, sometimes we have great enthusiasm and sometimes we don't have great enthusiasm. So this is called Ganatarala. The ups and downs. One day of Janmashtami, so elated, chant 64 rounds and want to chant more and more. After some time, you feel so down that you do not want to touch the bead bag at all. Thoughts come as, I just started the process of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada recommended 16 rounds. I already chanted 64 rounds the other day. And so covered for the next 3 days. So this is how you rationalize. At this stage, the bubble of false enthusiasm bursts and understands that this excitement was of some newfound faith and it's difficult to sustain such excitements. Example of children's excitement, getting a new toy, playing entire day. Next day, the toy is found in some corner of the. So this is Ganatarala. So we start with Utsamai, very enthusiastic, and then that dips, and now we go through waves. Ganatarala, enthusiastic, not enthusiastic, enthusiastic, not enthusiastic, and it's not like it's going to be, like 3 days, 1 day, 3 days, 1 day. No, it could be we chant for a few months, and then all of a sudden, we dip down, and we chant for a few months, and we dip down. So it all depends. The timeline depends on each individual. But there is no steadiness. It's not like you consistently chanting every single day. It's like you'll find His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. They made a vow to chant. And they would chant every single day their rounds. And when they would be hospitalized, the servant would be counting how many rounds they're not chanting due to whether it's an operation or incapacitated. They don't have the ability to chant or move their rounds, or they're unconscious. And the servant is counting the number of rounds. And when they come back, they recuperated, they're healthy, they catch up. Because they don't want to miss a single day. How can I continue with these ups and downs? I need some steadiness in my practice of devotional service. These thoughts begin to manifest in someone who is sincere. If you're sincere, if you have faith, if you really understood the goal, these thoughts are going to come. I can't go on like this. I need to shape up. I need to do something. I need to get taste. So now you start analyzing the external factors, looking at alternatives. What can I do to improve my situation, to get taste, to be more steady? So I look at all the external factors, like maybe going to the dham, retiring, moving to the temple. Maybe I should, take the bus, change my job, my family, my children, enjoy now, renounce later, all different alternatives externally. This is called Vyuda Vikalpa. Starting to think of different alternatives. So Srila Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur, he gives quite a few different alternatives that somebody is now thinking about. And when the person is thinking about these alternatives, he's also motivating it scripturally. So he says, shall I spend my life happily in family life, making my wife and children Krishna conscious or worshipping the Lord? The nature of family life is that always seeks attention. I want to focus on Krishna with family members around me. It's going to be impossible. Maybe I shall give up family life. Krishna will take care of them. And I should, or should I give them all up and go to Vrindavan? and perfect my engaging full-time in hearing and chanting with no distractions? Shall I wait until later stage, after enjoying all sorts of pleasure, when I finally understood that the whole material world is simply a forest fire of affliction? I may artificially go to Vrindavan, but within my heart, so many material desires. And if I artificially renounce, it will be a disaster. Maybe I should enjoy fully right now and naturally get convinced that there is no pleasure in the material world, then renounce and go to Vrindavan. Why waste time? Or should I renounce right now? Because in this verse, it says, Maya in the form of woman, created by the Lord, approaches man gently. One should see her as death, like a well covered with grass. So this is how a person is thinking. Persons who are aspiring to progress on the path of devotional service should be well aware of the dangers of the attraction to the opposite sex, decide to renounce and go to Vrindavan, but he is unaware that these impressions of desires to enjoy will harass him even in Vrindavan. Then he considers this verse. Bharata, who longed to serve the Lord, gave up wife, sons, friends, and kingdom, as if they were stool, though they were touching to the heart, and thus difficult to give up at a young age. So maybe I should renounce, because scripture says this is like a dark well. So should I thus give up unreliable family life while still young? On the other hand, it is not proper to renounce immediately. Shouldn't I wait until death of my old parents before renouncing? Thus, because of his foolish mentality, a householder whose heart is overwhelmed by family attachment is never satisfied, constantly meditating on his relatives, he dies and enters into the darkness of ignorance. By such statements, the Lord depreciates such renunciation. Thus, for a time being, I will just work to keep my body alive. Later, after satisfying all my desires, I will enter Vrindavan and engage in worshipping the Lord 24 hours a day. After all, scripture points out, therefore, for a devotee engaged in my loving service, with mind fixed on me, the cultivation of knowledge and renunciation is generally not the means of achieving the highest perfection within the world. So according to this text, renunciation is a fault for the culture of bhakti. If it arises from bhakti itself, however, that renunciation is not a fault, but an effect, anubhav, of bhakti and subordinate to it. So I should live with my family and renounce later at an older age. As I'm practicing devotional service, it will automatically come. Of course, then there is the famous logic. If whatever ashram the sannyasi stays, they always gave him more than enough to eat. So in the life of renunciation, there's no worry for maintenance. So maybe I should renounce. So he's going to and fro, seesawing. Renounce? No, don't renounce. Go to Vrindavan? No, stay at home. Don't be attached to family members? Yeah, attached to family members. So he doesn't know he is going. So many thoughts are coming. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Try this? Shouldn't I try this? And for each one, there's a valid verse. That can be motivated, or that can validate what you want. So you get more and more confused. But on the other hand, my dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotees, their material attachments and desire remain thieves, their homes remain prisons, and their affectionate feeling for their family members remain foot shackles. Household life is a prison only for those who are attached. For devotee, there is no harm in household life. I shall make all my family members devotees. Then I will constantly have Vaishnav Sangha. Thus, I do not have renounce. So he is really confused. So many verses are there. Thus, Shall I remain at home and engage in chanting, or rather in hearing, or shall I engage in service? It could be, do I do this service or do I do that service? Or rather, like as a Maharaj Ambrish, remain household life and perform all the angas of bhakti. I think I'll do that. In this way, the mind spends time facilitating between household life and renunciation. When one imagines in this way all types of options, it is called Vyuda Vikalpa, or extensive speculation. I should be steadily practicing devotional service and it is not happening. What changes will make it happen? I'm seeking different options. This is Vyuda Vikalpa. But here's the problem. We are looking for solutions externally. And because we're looking for solutions externally, we're looking at different options. What should I do here, there, etc. But the next unsteady bhajana kriya, devotional service, that we fall prey to or we go through is Vishaya Sangara. Vishaya Sangara. The real problem is actually inside. This does not mean that changing external situations may not help. It may certainly help to some extent and save time. Okay, so yes, externals can facilitate it, can be facilitated, can help. And if it can help, and it's favorable for devotional service, we embrace it. But the real problem lies inside, Vishaya Sangara, which is the next unsteady stage, struggling with the senses and the mind. Vishaya means senses, Sangara means struggle. One whose heart is absorbed in materialism is far from obtaining devotion to Vishnu. Can a man, by going east, obtain something which is in the west? So sense gratification must be given up. You cannot have the spiritual and material worlds both at the same time. This, for many, is a understanding that material enjoyment is forcibly carrying him away and impairing his steadiness in serving Krishna. The devotee resolves to renounce his addictions and take shelter of the holy name. But many times his attempts at renunciation often ends in enjoying what he's trying to renounce. So this struggle is there for many. You know it's wrong, you're trying to give it up, and it's just difficult. So the beautiful verse that's there, having awakened faith in my narrations of my glories. So we have faith in hearing and chanting about Krishna. Being disgusted with all prescribed activities, is convinced of the process of bhakti. Knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery, he's got some realization of the danger of sense gratification, but still being unable to renounce all sense enjoyment. Anartha is still there, deeply rooted. I know it's wrong, but I fall prey to it. Krishna says, my devotee should remain happy and worship me with great faith and conviction. Even though he is sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment, my devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to a miserable result, and he sincerely repents such activities. So, at this stage, Your narrators are there. You know you have the narrators. You know you have these obstacles, these weaknesses. You attach to sense gratification of different sorts. Some stronger, some weaker. And often you fall prey to it while practicing devotional service, while chanting Hare Krishna, while going to the temple. And when you fall prey to it, you know it's wrong. You know you shouldn't do it. But Krishna is saying here, my devotee should remain happy. He repents for that activity. I'm such a nonsense. My Lord, please forgive me. I got this narrative. I can't give it up. Please help. He repents. At the same time, he's happy to continue the process of devotional service. And that repentance and sincerity of knowing what's right and what's wrong, he says, no, I need to practice more seriously. I need to continue. I should not give up. And therefore, if you fall down, you get up again and continue with enthusiasm, like a child. Child desires to walk. It desires to walk, and it knows that that's the goal. And it may fall many times, but it tries to get up again and continues, and eventually learns to walk. So like that, we may fall, we may slip, we may have bad habits, we may have anarthas, no problem. Krishna says, be happy and just continue your service. Just continue chanting. Repent, understand the danger, try adjusting the circumstances, because sometimes the triggers, when you understand the triggers of sense gratification, what's triggering it? Because there's often triggers. Like if you're on the internet, there's many triggers on the internet that can trigger sense gratification. There's association that can trigger sense gratification. What you read, what you see, what you hear can trigger sense gratification. So we check those triggers. We avoid those triggers. We shield ourselves more and continue practicing devotional service. In this way, we're struggling through the process, unsteady devotional service. But we're going from one stage to the next. We're making advancement. Just like if this is the first time the child fell, and the child gets up, the child is making progress. Even if it falls again, it is making progress. So it's an organic growth in the steep journey, and especially anartha nivriti. So from Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana, Kriya, anartha nivriti, this is uphill. Anartha nivriti, which we're going to cover tomorrow, is the longest stretch. Once we know the full journey, we're convinced of the goal. We know there is no other alternative. We understand the process. We're enthusiastic. We have firm faith. We will keep on this journey. And while on this journey, we don't know what to expect. But we know Krishna is on our side. The affectionate devotees are there. Srila Prabhupada is there. We're not alone. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is with us. He's giving us highlights of this journey. So we're not alone. And the mercy is definitely there. What are the indicators that I'm not going into justification zone? Yeah, it's okay. We're all in Maya, and if you don't chant your rounds for 6 months, it's okay, Prabhu. Or like you meet another devotee, an aspiring devotee, and he says, Prabhu, you know what? I got a bad weakness. I like to watch Bollywood movies. And you say, don't worry, I also like to watch Bollywood movies. It's okay. So now you're justifying. You're helping him justify, and you are justifying. That is not right. What you should be saying, yeah, Prabhu, I actually also got that same fault, and I know it's wrong. If we want to advance, we need to somehow work on it. That's the correct response. So if we go into justification zone, we don't repent. We justify. We stop wanting to change. And the frequency of deviation does not decrease. In fact, it becomes worse and worse and worse and worse. Whereas if I repent and I don't justify, I accept this is an obstacle. I have this obstacle. What can I do? You can't do anything. You have it. You brought it from your past or your current lifestyle. You got it. Now it's a weed. Just like a gardener, he comes into the garden and he says, oh, where did this weed come from? Now he's not going to go into depression. No depression. Don't go into depression. All he do is just remove the weed. So like that, we just remove the weed. But easier said than done. No problem. How are you going to remove the weed? Try to engage in devotional service. Keep engaging in devotional service. Keep chanting Hare Krishna. Keep hearing and chanting. Keep having nice association. Have some service. My recommendation to all of you is have some practical service. Devotional service. Out of that 64 limbs of devotional service, go to Nectar Devotion, look at the list and go and check which one you love to do. You really enjoy this service. Serving Tulsi Devi, serving the cows, serving the devotees, sowing for the deities, going out on Harinam, distributing books, distributing prasad, honoring prasad. No, leave that for distributing prasad. We all like to honor, but no, that's we should be giving mercy. So what type of service do I love to do? And master that service, specialize in it, become expert at it, become absorbed in it, and try to do that as regularly as possible. And when you have difficulty, fall on that service. Go do that service. Like, you fought, you had a fight. And because you love to do Harinam, just go out and do Harinam. You'll see. Your mind will be distracted, you'll be absorbed, and you'll forget what happened. So by keeping focus, the frequency of your fall down will be less, and eventually it will stop. Now, different obstacles, different desires of sense gratification will go through these different processes. And some of them will be very quick to burn out. Others will take a little longer. Others will take many, many months, many years. It doesn't matter. Whether it's minutes, weeks, days, months, doesn't matter. We just keep going on. This ongoing battle with his previously acquired desires for sense pleasure, in which he sometimes meets with victory and sometimes with defeat, is called Vishaya Sangara. Vishaya Sangara, or struggle with sense pleasure. Then, after Vishaya Sangara comes Niyamakshama, inability to uphold vows. Like when I fall prey to sinful activities, then I say, okay, now I'm definitely going to stop this. I need to chant more rounds. I'm going to chant 64 rounds until this anartha is removed, or 32 rounds. So you make vows. but then again, inability to follow the vows. But at least you know it's wrong and you're trying to engage more in devotional service. So you see that there actually is very slight, subtle progress, because the type of an altar or the type of unsteady devotional service is changing. Then the devotee will resolve, from today I will chant such and such number of rounds of japa and will pay so many obeisances. I will also perform service for the devotees. I will not talk on any subject except the Lord, and I will give up all association with people who talk on material matters. Though he makes such resolutions every day, he is not able to execute them. This is called niyamakshama, or inability to follow rules. Vishaya sangara is the inability to give up material enjoyment, whereas niyamakshama is the inability to improve his devotional service. So you know it's wrong and you're trying, but you can't steadily continue practicing. And then finally, now again, different time period for these different stages. You may try and carry on, but because you're not giving up, because you're shielding yourself with more strong association, because you're hearing and chanting nicely, then these obstacles will also be reduced quicker and quicker. So different stages will have different duration. And then finally, you now are steadily perform devotional service, or at least you are not experiencing any of these 5 different unsteady devotional service practices. And then finally you come to this one here, Rangarangini, enjoying the facility offered by bhakti. As a devotee advances in bhakti, other devotees starts noticing. Other devotees appreciate the advancement in various ways, such as, oh, Prabhu, you're such a wonderful devotee. You make so many nice garlands. You dress so nicely. You chant so nicely. You distribute so many books. You're so amazing. You're so advanced. And you think, yes, I am very advanced. Glorification, name, fame, facility, honor. You wear saffron and you go door to door. Oh, Swamiji, please come, Swamiji. Padaria, please come, take a seat, Swamiji. What can we get you, Swamiji? Some water, some milk, some juice. What can we get you, Swamiji? And Swamiji is very happy. Wow, this is so nice. I just joined yesterday and I got my saffron, but these people, they like me. I like this. So like that, you get honor, prestige. Swamiji, can I give you donation? Oh, yes, please give donation. And you get donation. Thank you very much. Hey, guys, it's like nice. I can get money also, man. So like this, this is riding the waves. Oh, you give such a nice class. Oh, so nice. I mean, never heard that before. Wow, you so great. Yes, I'm so great. You must know I'm great. Such appreciation can potentially get to our head of pride. One may start demanding respect and get upset when not done so. Don't you know, Prabhu? You didn't recognize my glorious services. Don't you know who I am? Don't you know how many years of service I've been rendering? Don't you know I'm the first disciple? Don't you know I started this project? And goes on and on and on. So this is riding the waves. Finally, it is well known that the very nature of bhakti is to be attractive. So all types of people become attracted to the devotee and the abode of bhakti. And as the old adage goes, by the attraction of the populace, one becomes wealthy. Bhakti produces much opportunity for material gain, worship, and position, labha, puja, and pratishta. These are the weeds around the creeper of bhakti. When you're watering the bhakti creeper, water is also falling on the weeds. When you're chanting Hare Krishna, don't be surprised. Those weeds come out. And some weeds you never knew you had. And you're wondering, where did that desire come from? Whoops. I better stop chanting, because the more I chant, looks like some funny things are coming out of my heart. It's called the cleansing process. Cheto darpana marjanam. This is what is happening to your heart. You're getting cleansed. And you have to face those narratives. Some of them just disappear. Some of them you have to face. Some of them you have to work on. Performing activities or seeking one's pleasure, Ranga, amidst these weeds-like facilities, which are but small waves, Taranga, in the ocean of bhakti is called Taranga Rangini, delighting in material facilities. And if we look at the example of Srila Prabhupada was so careful. He was a pure devotee. He didn't have to chant on Veds, on rounds. But Prabhupada never failed. He didn't have to get up for early in the morning, 4:30 every day for Mangalarti. But Prabhupada, even when he was sick, he told the disciples, carry me in on a palanquin. Prabhupada read his own books daily. Prabhupada had so much facility. He never thought his facilities for me. Let me enjoy. No. It's all for Krishna. So Prabhupada always, by his example, was a perfect acharya. Prematurely attaining Taranga Rangini. Social media expedites this stage because you just put a video out there and everybody likes, and you just look at your likes and wow, just see so many people like my post. Oh, so many people like my statement. Oh, so many people like my video. Becoming an expert preacher. So Maya can come in this form. We have to be very, very careful. And what is the root cause of pride? If we are not careful, if we don't understand that this is all the blessings of Krishna coming through the process of bhakti, it is all the mercy of Hari, Guru, Vaishnava, Bhagavata Gita. We cannot take any credit for ourselves. And if you want a reality check, just try to understand what skills that you're getting glorified for now, did you come with those skills when you were born? Hell no. Now you can lead nice kirtan. So when you came into this world on day number 1, did you sing? All you're doing was crying, making a noise. Clearly it shows you didn't come with that skill. That skill was bestowed to you by the mercy of Hari, Guru, Vaishnava, Bhagavata Gita. So all credits go to them. And if you take any credits, you become proud of borrowed plumes, then fall down is guaranteed. So we should be very, very careful. Prabhupada, when they said, oh, Prabhupada, you preach all over the world, such service, Prabhupada said, I did nothing. My Guru Maharaj. Prabhupada would say, all the disciples did it, I did nothing. So this is safety. So how to overcome unsteady devotional service? All these different forms of unsteady devotional service that we've gone through, how to overcome. And the key, there are many aspects, but the most important key, association of devotees is the only way to overcome unsteady devotional service. And again here, my recommendation is try to have a group of like-minded advanced association. Why? Because they can check you. See, if you isolate yourself, and if you're not able to monitor and self-motivate yourself to progress, you're not going to go far. You need that encouragement, that push from others. So like-minded association, physical association is very, very important. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kai, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hai. The verdict of all revealed scriptures is that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. And according to astronomical calculation, Lava Matra is 1/11th of a second. Then these were the last 5 most potent forms of devotional service that Srila Rupa Goswami mentions. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Va Sri Murtiya Shradaya Sevana. One should associate devotees, chant the holy names of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, reside at Mathura, worship the deity with faith and veneration. These are the 5 most potent forms of devotional service. And Srila Mahaprabhu says that Sakala Sadhana Shreshta A Pancha Anga Krishna Prema Janmaya A Panchera Alpasanga. These 5 limbs of devotional service are the best of all. Even a slight performance of these 5 awakens love for Krishna. And Prabhupada was so expert, he took these 5 and he put them in the morning program. So if we go to the temple and have a morning program, we associate with devotees chanting Hare Krishna. We're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we're residing in the holy Dham, because where Shishinitai Gaur is Mathura, where Shishivadovanath is Vrindavan, where Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani is, that is Jagannath Puri. And we're worshipping the deity. So all 5 is there in the morning program. Therefore, the morning program is extremely potent, powerful. Just one of these limbs and a slight performance of these limbs, one of them can awaken love of Krishna. Imagine performing all 5 as often as possible in the morning program in association devotees. Powerful. Then this verse is also given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, very, very important. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Aya Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Prema Janme Teho Punna Mukhya Anga. The root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotees. Even with one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, association with devotees is still most essential. Association with advanced devotees is here glorified as Janma Mula, the root cause of loving devotion. And such association is considered so potent, so crucial, that even those who have achieved perfection on the path find it to be of great value. When Dhruva Maharaj saw Krishna, and Krishna asked him, what do you want? He said, I just want association with your pure devotees. Because with association with the pure devotees, Krishna is already automatically there. And that brings us to the end of unsteady devotional services. As we perform the process of bhajana kriya, devotional service, we will be unsteady in the beginning, going through these different forms of unsteady practices. As we continue sincerely to not give up, practice, have good association, keep the enthusiasm, keep focus, our practice will become more and more steady. And then as we keep practicing steady devotional service, we are now in the stage of anartha nivritti. This is the washing machine. This is where all the removals of anarthas happen. As we continue practice clearing, practice clearing, practice clearing, cheto darpana marjanam, practice chanting clearing, serving clearing. And now Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is going to share with us what types of anarthas are there in our heart that gets removed, and at what stage of our practice, and what happens after anartha nivritti is cleansed. This journey from beginning to end, majority of the journey is bhajana kriya and anartha nivritti. Therefore, you'll find these are the longest chapters. The other chapters are very, very short. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gopramanande Hari Hari Bol. Are there any questions or comments? Teen Colleen says, and the higher you go with your pride, the further and harder you fall. Yes. Yamagati and Nikanta says, fantastic class, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you.